And when it comes to kitchens, specifically, our grandparents had this stuff figured out better than any modern designer ever will. That first Forgotten Features video, over 1 million views. In part 2, you guys loved it. And honestly, we barely scratched the surface. I'm Blake, built by Becker. After 15 years of building and remodeling kitchens, I can tell you this. We kept trying to reinvent the wheel when perfect solutions had already existed 80 years ago. So today, we're diving into 8 more forgotten kitchen features, and this time we're going deep on the ones that would actually change your kitchen functions every single day. By the end of this video, you're going to understand why modern kitchens cost twice as much and work half as well. And more importantly, you're going to know exactly which old school features are worth bringing back into your renovation. And if you're planning any kind of kitchen project, hit that subscribe button, because I'm about to show you features that most contractors have never heard of. And stick around until the end. My design starter kit is on sale, and it includes all my professional kitchen planning templates and 24 access to my design specialist. All right, now let's get into these forgotten features. Feature number 1, cold pantry or root cellar access. Let's start with something that's gonna blow your mind. Houses used to have built-in refrigeration. Before electricity, I'm talking about cold pantries and root cellars. A cold pantry was a small room usually on the north side of the house that stayed naturally cool year-round because it wasn't heated. It had vents to the outside, stone or concrete walls that held in the cold, and it was specifically designed to store food that needed to be cool but not frozen. Things like butter, eggs, cheese, root vegetables, preserves, and then you had the root cellar, usually accessed through a trap door in the floor of the pantry or kitchen. This was an underground space where the Earth's natural temperature kept everything between 35 and 40 degrees year-round. Perfect for storing potatoes, carrots, onions, apples, and anything that needed cold storage. And here's what amazes me about this. They designed the entire food storage system around requiring zero electricity, and it lasted for months. They understood food science better than most of us do today. Like, think about it. No, really. We pay to run refrigerators 24/7, and we still can't keep produce fresh as long as they could in a properly designed root cellar. Apples stored in a root cellar could last 4 to 6 months. Potatoes, carrots, beets, same thing. All without any power consumption. Now, I'm not saying we should all dig root cellars in our backyards, but the concept of a cold pantry, that's actually doable in modern construction. A small, unheated room on the north side of your house with proper ventilation and insulation from the rest of the home, perfect for bulk storage, wine storage, or just reducing the load on your main refrigerator. And honestly, in an era where everyone's talking about sustainability and reducing energy consumption, maybe we should be looking at how our great-grandparents solved these problems without electricity. Scullery. All right, now let's talk about Scullery. And I need you to understand, this is not the same as a butler's pantry. A butler's pantry is nice for dishes, serving platters, and presentation. A scullery is where real work happened. The scullery was basically a working kitchen behind the main kitchen. It's where you did the messy cooking, the heavy prep work, the cleanup after big meals. It usually had a deep sink, lots of counter space, storage for pots, pans, and sometimes even a second stove or cooktop. Lately, we've all brought this into the open concept dream, where the kitchen is the centerpiece of the home. Everything's visible, everything's on display, which sounds great until you're actually cooking Thanksgiving dinner and your kitchen looks like a bomb went off and your guests can see every bit of that chaos. The scullery solved that problem. Your main kitchen stayed clean and presentable because all the messy work happened in the back room. After dinner, dirty dishes went straight to the scullery. Guests never saw this disaster zone. And before you think this is some luxury feature that only rich people had, it wasn't. Even middle-class homes in the early 1900s had some version of this. It was just smart planning. You had a pretty kitchen for show and a working kitchen for function. I think we lost that style and era of living. Summer kitchen, outdoor cooking space. Now this one's gonna make you rethink outdoor kitchens. Everyone thinks outdoor kitchens are this new luxury trend, right? Well, summer kitchens have been around for hundreds of years. Back in the day, especially on farms in rural areas, families had a completely separate building or outdoor space for cooking during the summer months. This wasn't about entertaining or grilling steaks, this was about survival. Because in those days before air conditioning, turning your stove on in July would heat up your entire house to an unbearable temperature. So instead, you moved all your cooking, canning, baking, preserving out to a separate structure, the summer kitchen. There were fully functioning kitchens with stoves, counters, storage, sometimes even their own pantries. You'd do all the heavy cooking out there, keep the heat out of your main house, and your family could actually survive the summer without dying of a heat stroke. Now, look at modern outdoor kitchens where we're spending $30,000 to $50,000 on these elaborate setups with pizza ovens and built-in grills and refrigerators, and we think we invented something new. We didn't! We just forgot about summer kitchens and then rediscovered them with fancier materials. If you're thinking about an outdoor kitchen, maybe look how they used to do it. A covered structure separate from your house, or even just attached to your garage with actual cooking capacity, storage, and a workspace. Not just a grill and a mini fridge. A real functioning kitchen that takes the load off your indoor space during those hot months. And that right there is a practical design that has stood the test of time. Pie safes and cooling cabinets. Here's a problem every home baker faces. You just pulled a pie out of the oven, it's too hot, it needs to cool, but where do you put it? On the counter, where your curious kids and pets can get into it? On top of the stove? In the fridge too soon, which ruins the texture? There's no good solution in modern kitchens, but our grandparents, they had a whole piece of furniture designed specifically for this. It was called a pie safe. And it was genius. It was basically a cabinet. The tin had decorative patterns punched into it, stars, circles, flowers that looked beautiful. It also served as a functional purpose. The holes allowed air to circulate so baked goods could cool properly, but the holes were small enough that flies and mice and other pests couldn't get in. You'd pull your pies, cakes, or bread out of the oven and set them in the pie safe to cool overnight. And in the morning, they'd be perfectly cooled and protected. No plastic wrap needed, no worrying about critters getting into your food. These things were standard in American kitchens from the 1800s through the 1940s. And they weren't just functional, they were beautiful. Hand-punched tin work, solid wood construction, often passed down through generations. You can still find antique pie safes today. They're highly collectible. Modern kitchens should bring these back. That's all I'm gonna say.
When you're deep in a project, taking a break seems absolutely impossible. We're not just talking about design and construction, we're talking about being hungry. After a good gym session like I just left, I need to refuel. I don't like making poor decisions. So what I started to do is keep these Huel Black Editions on site. It's a whole meal for about $2.65 per serving for the Black Edition powder. I grab one of these Black Edition powders and shake it up, or
I grab one of the Black Edition ready-to drinks.
guys, this chocolate peanut butter, it might be my absolute favorite. I also love this strawberry banana. Design, construction, and making sure clients are happy are my #1 priority, but I can't do that unless I'm full and feeling good. Right now, Huel's got a high protein starter bundle, 1 Black Edition pouch in chocolate flavor, 5 ready to drink Black Edition bottles, and a shaker, and it's 20% off. Guys, click the link in my description with the promo code, and you guys can get this deal all through January. And thank you to Huel for being an amazing sponsor and keeping me from being hangry.
Number 5, built-in spice racks. All right, quick question. Where are your spices right now? Let me guess. Shove into a cabinet, half of them are hidden in the back, you can't really see what you have, and you keep buying duplicates of things you already own because, well, you forgot they were in there. Sound familiar? That's because modern kitchen cabinets are terrible for spice storage. But old kitchens, they had this figured out with narrow pull-out cabinets specifically designed for spices. I'm talking about cabinets that were only 3 to 6 inches deep, just enough for a spice jar that pulled out like a drawer, so you could see everything at once. They were usually installed next to the stove for easy access while cooking. You'd pull out of the cabinet, grab what you needed, and push it back in. Every spice visible, nothing hidden, zero wasted space. The good news, these are making a comeback in custom kitchens. You can get pull-out spice racks that fit between your regular cabinets, or you can design them into a renovation. They're not expensive to add, and the convenience factor, well, it's off the charts. If you cook regularly, this is one of those upgrades that you'll use multiple times every single day. And it's based on design that worked perfectly 80 years ago. Sometimes the simplest solutions are the best ones. This is one of those times. Feature number 6, the pass-through window. Before open concept kitchens took over, there was a much smarter solution for connecting kitchen and dining spaces, the pass-through window. It was usually a small window about 3 feet wide between the kitchen and dining room. Sometimes it had a little counter or shelf on both sides. The idea was simple. You could pass dishes through from the kitchen into the dining room without walking around or going through a doorway. It was brilliant. It connected the spaces without making them the same space. The cook could talk to people in the dining room, pass the food through, but the kitchen mess stayed in the kitchen. Cooking smells were mostly contained, and the dining room remained its own distinct, pleasant space for eating. Compare that to a modern, open-concept kitchen, where the kitchen, dining room, and living room are all one giant space. Yeah, it feels big and airy, but also means everyone sees and smells everything that's happening in the kitchen all the time. Your dirty dishes are on display during dinner. The smell of last night's fish is in your living room. And good luck having a conversation in the dining area while someone's running a blender. The pass-through window gave you a connection without chaos. You got benefit of an open kitchen, easy communication, efficient food service, and without all the downsides. Feature number 7, Drainboard Sinks. Let's talk about sinks for a second. Specifically about one of the dumbest things modern kitchens eliminated, the built-in drain board. Old kitchens had these massive cast iron sinks coated in porcelain enamel, and they didn't just have the basin, they had an integrated drain board right next to it. The drain board was part of the same piece, with channels molded into it that sloped gently back towards the sink. The genius of this design, you'd wash your dishes and then set them directly on the drain board. Water would drip off and then drain back into the sink automatically. No dish rack cluttering your counter, no water pooling on your countertop, no separate drying mat or drying area needed. Everything was built in and it worked perfectly. These sinks were one solid piece. The counter, the drain board, and the basin, all cast iron and porcelain, built to last 50, 70, sometimes 100 years. And most of them did. They were workhorses. My grandparents had one throughout their entire childhood, and it's probably still working in that house today. Then we switched to modern undermount with no drain board, and suddenly everybody needs to buy dish racks and drying mats and figure out where to put the wet dishes. We made the kitchens less functional, and we call that progress. Of course, you can have one now, but make sure it's actually deep and functional like the originals. A lot of trendy versions are too shallow or the drain board is too small to actually be useful. Feature number 8, the Hoosier Cabinet. All right guys, this is my last one and it might be the most brilliant kitchen feature we've ever abandoned. The Hoosier Cabinet, if you don't know what this is, look at this freestanding piece of furniture about 6 feet tall and about 4 feet wide. But it wasn't just a cabinet. It was an entire kitchen workspace packed into one piece of furniture. It included built-in flour bin with a sifter and crank handle, sugar bins, a spice carousel, pull-out surfaces for rolling dough, metal-lined bread drawers, storage compartments for dry goods, recipe charts printed on the inside of cabinet doors, and sometimes even built-in hooks for utensils and towels. This thing was the Swiss Army knife of kitchen furniture. Everything you needed for baking and cooking was in one spot, organized, efficient, and ready to use. These were massively popular in the early 1900s to the 1940s. The Hoosier Manufacturing Company alone sold over 2 million of these by 1920. They were middle-class essentials designed for making life easier. Whoever was doing the cooking and the design was incredible. The flour bin had a crank-operated sifter built right in. You turn the handle and perfectly silted flour would come out of the bottom. The work surface pulled out when you needed it and tucked away when you didn't. The spice carousel rotated so you could see everything at once. Every feature was about efficiency and convenience. Then, built-in kitchens became standard and we stopped making these cabinets, which is a shame because even with modern built-in kitchens, the concept is still brilliant. Like everything you need for baking in one dedicated station. No walking back and forth between cabinets or pantries, no digging through your drawers, no clutter on your countertops with ingredients. It's all right there. Hoosier cabinets are highly collectible now. You can find them in antique shops from anywhere to $500 to $5,000. And people are restoring them and using them as baking stations, coffee bars, or bar cart setups. This is one of those ideas that was so good, it deserves a comeback. We just need to remember that our great-grandparents weren't just making to do with what they had. They were genuinely solving problems in smart, efficient ways. Look, here's the thing I want you to take away from this. Modern kitchen design isn't always better. Sometimes we abandon features because they're old-fashioned, not because they stopped working. So what do you think? What would you bring back of these features? And what would you love to have in your home? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to grab that design starter kit. It's got all my professional templates and planning tools if you're designing a kitchen that actually works how you live. The link's in the description. Thanks again for watching Built by Becker, and if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button so we can see you on the next one.